Hey guys, we are going to get started here in just a moment. Let me get my phone set up. It always likes to take that thumbnail, and I'm going to get it set up right over in. Just flip this camera around. This area right over here, and you're going to have your mute. Sorry, Siri is listening to me. Get yourself. Will work for the blanket and block. It doesn't have to be like one of these woven blankets. It can be anything in your house. We're just going to add a little bit of weight during our practice to support us. And I'm going to try to make sure that this thing catches all of my head because this landscape setup for YouTube is not always my best friend. It sometimes chops off the top of my head in landscape mode. All right, my friends, don't mind my slightly messy house. We all don't have to have perfectly clean houses right now. Um, so, yeah, just be aware to be kind and compassionate. If you want the props, we got a blanket and a block today, totally optional, but I am going to put them in there at certain parts and you can always sub it out. And then here is our flow for today. It's a slow down and flow. You can follow me on Instagram at yogiDLT, but more importantly, my Apple Music is the same handle, yogiDLT. And the Apple Music playlist for today is Yoga BSY4. So Yoga BSY4 is going to be our jam today. It has a nice little song about slowing down. Uh, but yeah, towards the end. And it's a really nice theme. It's got some higher, more energetic parts, and it's got some slow it all down parts where we need it. And we're going to work on that balance today. So it's slow down and flow, Apple Music, yogiDLT. And then I will also post screenshots on my Insta story so you can see the screenshot of the playlist. If you don't have Apple Music, you can at least see the songs and make your own Spotify playlist. All right, I'm going to use a blanket and a block today. You do not have to use a blanket and a block if you do not have them. Don't stress about having a blanket or a block, but they might be helpful today for your practice. So you might want the blanket and block combo. All right, that being said, we're going to start in a couple minutes. Get set up, yogis. Grab some agua, some coffee, whatever you want to hydrate you during your practice. Hey, Happy. I'm like never on the side of the phone to see it. Hello. Hopefully Ellie's practicing along. Zoe is somewhere around my house. I think she's underneath the kitchen table. Whoop, whoop. All right. Hey, Zozo, you ready to do some yoga? Okay. You ready to do some yoga? Ooh. Okay. You ready to do yoga? Huh? All right, guys. Oh, for Shavasana. Yeah, the dog's in Shavasana. All right. Another couple minutes to get your blanket and block if you want it. You're going to take this little chill morning wake up session. It will have some fiery parts to it, but for me, I've been needing to understand that I don't always have to be super productive in my life right now or doing crazy yoga flows constantly. I like to have a little balance. So, all right. So, block and blanket might be what you want today. And then try to get my chair out of the way. I'm just going to make sure that my head is not going to be cut off during practice, and then we'll be good. Let's been a bad habit. I've been finding that when I stand on my mat, my head gets cut off. All right, we seem to be good. Cool. I can turn off my annoying TV monitor that's super distracting. Okay, yogis, let's get started. Okie dokie. So blankets and block close by. I like to have them to add a little bit of a nice like yin touch to our practice. Oh, hello, you're gonna join us for some yoga? Yeah? Okay. She is very needy today. She went to the vet yesterday. So if you see her stepping to the shot a lot, it's probably just because she's still traumatized from the vet yesterday. All right. So we got our blanket and our block, and let's get started with the block. Taking off that noisy mala. So with the block, I like this because it's going to work on a lot of heart opening. If you don't have a block, you can use a pillow. You could use your blanket and roll it up. You could use, I guess, a book that might not be so comfortable. I don't know. Find something that you can lay on if you want it. If you want to skip it, you totally can. I'm going to take the block and I'm going to lay it along the width of my shoulders. So right underneath the shoulder blade, just about right underneath the wings, you're going to tuck the block. I'm trying to like point to it. Tuck the block pretty much right underneath your wings. And you're just going to lay down to work on some heart opening because it's spring and it's nice to work on a little bit of in bloom growth. And growth can be in so many different ways. So let's just settle in, laying on the block. Now, you might notice when you settle in, you're like, wow, that's not terribly comfortable. I need to move that block around a little bit. Go for it. Set up where you can lay in stillness for a couple minutes, a couple moments, and just not feel like you need to fidget or move. If this doesn't feel great for your back, you might prop up a blanket underneath your head, add a little bit more height. You might just completely remove the block. Now you can have your legs and arms just taking up space, or you could bring the soles of your feet together. You could bring a hand to belly, a hand to heart. Personally, for me, sometimes I even like to bend my knees, but today it just feels good to let myself be in like a shavasana, but with this heart opening. And then once you find your stillness, close the eyes. Begin to notice your breath, the rise and the fall of your belly without any judgment, just observe. So, when I talk about spring being a time of growth, it's a time where I really reflect and try to grow as a person. I try to complete a lot more projects. I try to, get back into maybe shape after wintertime or get a little bit more active and out in nature. And this year is totally different than any other spring we've ever had. And I'm having to navigate that and learn. I might not be doing as many projects as I normally am because I can't just run to the store and go pick up things. I might not be getting out as much as I normally do. I might not be as active as I normally am. And that is still okay because growth doesn't always have to happen on the outside. So physically, I'm starting to notice I'm doing more growth internally this year. And maybe the slowing down of the world around us is really allowing all of us to do that. So, with the noticing of your breath, bring a little bit more compassion and kindness into your heart. Know that you are doing enough, that you already are enough, that you don't have to push this growth to happen or force this growth to happen. If you are open to growing and seeing the world in a different way and being compassionate and loving to yourself, you're going to grow no matter what. If you're curious to explore and learn a little bit more about yourself, you're doing great already because you are enough and you have enough. Let's take a deep breath in, fill up on thinking about you are enough. Open up your mouth, share it out to the universe because you are enough right here as you are. Take a deep breath. Think about that you have enough. Fill up with that mantra, pause at the top, and then open up your mouth, share it out to the universe. Beautiful yogis. Taking some time to lay here in stillness, maybe for a moment, setting a very personal intention. It is yours, there's nobody else's practice. Make this practice yours. Put some purpose behind the breath if you'd like. Everything in yoga is optional, except for breathing. Taking a deep breath in, fill up with that intention. Open up your mouth, big audible sigh. Awesome, awesome. All right, this block has been underneath us for quite a while. So let's roll off to one side and remove the block. Oof. Let's return without it and let's just notice the difference. As you return to your back, arms and legs just taking up some space. Sometimes we take for granted the earth that's beneath us, that's supporting us, Mother Earth. And it's nice after removing that block to remember that she's always there. She's got our back, she's supporting us. She'll catch us when we fall, so we can take those risks. We can lose our balance because we always will fall back down to earth. Here's our nice little reminder, just feeling that support. Now, since today our theme is a really slow flow to begin with, we're going to just rub the pad of our thumb along the pad of each finger. So, starting with our index finger, rub the pads of your thumb along the pad of your index. Taking your time, notice sensation, and then move over to the middle finger. Feeling no rush, you can move as fast or slow as you want down to the ring finger, and then down to the pinky finger. A little move into our fingers now, a little bit more, maybe down into the toes, even the ankles and the wrists. Take your time to add these slow movements in. You might add a rock of your head left and right. And then the inhale, let's find a nice good morning stretch, most appropriate for our morning practice. Reach long through fingers and toes. Reach, reach, reach on a deep breath in. Exhale, grab onto your left wrist, reach up and over to the top right corner. Now walking your feet to the bottom right corner of the mat. Option to stack your left ankle on top of your right. Banana asana, a highly technical Sanskrit term, is not. You look like a banana. It's a banana pose. Stretching into the left side of your body. Relax the left shoulder down, the left hip, the left glute. And I still have my eyes closed right now. You might keep your eyes closed to really stay focused on the internal, tuning out the external around you. But it's okay if you open your eyes and are a little bit more aware around you. You might have a pup that's trying to join you on your mat or something like that. It's okay. We all are in different circumstances. We are bringing yoga into our homes. So being flexible, being aware that this is not going to be like a normal studio practice. Breathe one more deep breath into that left side of your body. Fill up into the ribs, let them expand. Exhale, come back through center on the inhale. Find length, a nice good morning stretch. Stretch long through fingers and toes. Reach, reach, reach. Exhale, grab onto the right wrist. Stretch up and over to the top left corner of the mat. Feet walk to the bottom left corner. And maybe, you don't have to. Stack that right foot on top of your left. So the right ankle stacks on top of the left ankle. And you soften completely into the right side of your body. Shoulder softens down, ribs, glute, everything softens. Today's a little bit of a dreary, overcast, rainy morning, and sometimes we have a hard time waking up on those days, especially when we're out of a routine and a schedule. We don't have to physically travel to an office. And being okay with that, being aware that we don't have to live our normal lives right now. Take a deep breath into the right side of your lung, fill up, expand between the ribs, stretch into those intercostal muscles between each rib. Exhale, come back through center. Inhale, reach long. Nice stretch through fingers and toes. Good. On the exhale, let's hug our knees into our chest. Nice big squeeze. I like a little rock along the left and right side of my low back. A little massage into that kidney band space. It's also just a good way to start to wake yourself up a little bit. It starts to warm up and wake up the back. You're stretching a little bit into the hip flexors already, and you can kind of point and flex into your toes right here. So warming up the ankles, warming up into the toes. On your exhale, eventually finding your hands on the backs of your thighs. We're gonna rock up and down a few times. Up and down. And then when you're ready, we're gonna meet just seated. Crisscross applesauce. And I'll turn so I'm facing towards you. All right, so we're sitting up nice and tall, and I'm just gonna let my palms face up here. You might have your palms face down if you want some more grounding, you feel a little anxious this morning, or if you need some energy. I'm a little sleepy this morning, my palms are gonna be facing up, and I'm just going to close my eyes. Sitting up nice and tall, shift the weight back towards those sit bones. Crown of your head reaches up, a gentle tuck of your chin in towards your chest. Roll the shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale, roll them away. Inhale, shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, roll them down. One more. Inhale, roll the shoulders up. Exhale, roll them down. Find that nice tall seat. Use your core here. Shift the weight back towards the sit bones a little bit more if you need some extra height into the spine. Now, as you arrive in some stillness, notice what your energy level is in your body. We start off pretty low energy, pretty still. We started to move, we started to sit up. Maybe you're feeling good, like you're gonna move a lot today. Maybe you're feeling a little slow, a little tired, a little lethargic. That is okay. Just learning a little bit more about ourselves. Take a deep breath in, fill up with patience, with kindness, with grace. Let something go that's not serving you on the exhale. Judgment, labels, expectations. Now flutter open your eyes. Awesome job, yogis. Let's take our hands to our low back. Interlace your fingers. Make a fist. Pull your knuckles down towards the earth. A little heart opener. Look up just a little bit. Let your knuckles pull down. Exhale. Bring your chin back through center. Let's bring our knuckles to the outside of our right waist. I'm going to try to mirror this. Guys, I suck at mirroring. I always mix up my rights and my lefts, and I'm doing it the opposite side. All right, so our knuckles are to the outside of our right hip or right waist, or kind of to the right side of our back. It doesn't really matter as long as you bring it more to the right, less to the center. Now bring your elbows together. Nice. Squeezing your elbows together creates this really proud heart. If you notice, my heart rolls open, and you're going to drop your left ear over towards your left shoulder. Now you might close the eyes as you just stay here and breathe, stretching into the right side of the neck. Deep breath in and a big breath out. Final inhale. Exhale, bring your head back through center. Let's bring our knuckles over towards the left side of our waist. Again, we're going to squeeze our elbows together, opening up our heart, and then we're going to drop our right ear over towards our right shoulder. Close the eyes. You might keep the eyes open, up to you. When I open up my eyes, I see all the things on my floor that I need to clean in my house. So maybe you close your eyes and ignore those things. Softening into the left side of your neck. Big breath in, big breath out. One more full inhale. Exhale, come back through center. One more little back bend. Knuckles pulled down. Let your heart open up. Let your gaze just gently look up and lift. Exhale, keep this bind. Let yourself pour forward. Let your head hang. Now, you might be able to rest your forehead down to the earth. You might bring a block or a blanket underneath you. You might be able to keep your knuckles to your low back or even lift them up. Up to you on the flexibility of your shoulders. But keep squeezing your palms together like you're trying to trap something between your palms. When you're ready, gently release this bind away from the low back. Reach your arms forward and just let yourself melt down. So it might be forehead to block still, or it might be forehead to earth. It might just be hovering in space. That's okay too. This is one of my favorite postures when I'm feeling super anxious or I can't sleep at night. I always come into this pose. So I'm always with crisscross applesauce legs and just folding forward and bringing my palms down. This one's a really great way to imagine what you would like to release through your palms and let the earth absorb, and then absorbing some grounding energy back in from Mother Earth that's beneath you. Take one more full breath in. Exhale, gently walk your hands back in, rise up, nice tall seat. Let's go for some twisting stretches into our spine and some more lateral stretches. So sweeping your arms up overhead. Let's drop our right hand down, sweeping our left arm up and overhead. Now you might drop down to the forearm. You might stay on your palm or even just bend in the elbow a little bit more. I like to gaze up towards my upper left palm and pinky, looking up, inviting a little bit more twist into the neck. If that doesn't work for you, keep the gaze out long in front of you towards the earth. One more deep breath in, reach a little bit further. Exhale, come back up. Drop the left hand down now. Right arm reaches up and over. And again, you can drop to the forearm or just stay on your palm. You can bend into that elbow. You can look up. You can look down. Up to you. I'm just trying to get as much stretch as I can into the right side of my body right now. This is where you should really be feeling the stretch all the way along the outside of that right arm, down through the ribs into the outside of your hip a little bit. Maybe even into your back. I always feel it into the right side of my back as well here. Last breath in. Exhale, come back through center, reaching your arms high. Exhale, cactus your heart open, back bend, look up. Inhale, sweeping your arms high. Let's drop our left hand down to our right knee. Right hand props up behind our sit bones. So sitting up nice and tall, twist over that right shoulder. So I'm staying tented up onto my right hand. That works for me. You might bring the block underneath your hand. You might just prop down onto your whole palm if you've got it, but I like to tent up because it adds more length into the spine, which is the whole point of this. We're trying to twist into the entire spine, including the cervical spine and our neck. Just a gentle wake up. Exhale, unwind, sweep your arms up high, cactus your heart open. Inhale, arms reach up, drop the right hand down, tent up on those left fingertips back behind your sit bones. Gaze over that left shoulder. Taking a full breath in and a full breath out. Notice if you try to force yourself into this pose, try to soften a little bit more. That might be backing out of it. One more inhale. Exhale, unwind, sweep your arms up, cactus your heart open, and then reach your arms up high, roll over the knees, tabletop. I'll face back to normal. All right, so wrists underneath shoulders, knees under your hips. I'm gonna tuck the toes and sit back for a yogi toe stretch while we get a stretch for the wrists. So sitting on to my Heels with my toes tucked under. Oh, yeah, this is fun. Let's get this wrist stretching over pretty quickly because this can be pretty intense. So, we're going to take our right hand out in front of us and we're going to take our left pointer finger and we're just going to gently pull back on each finger. So, I'm going to start with the thumb, and then I'm going to move back to the pointer finger, the middle finger, the ring finger, kind of like we did earlier with rubbing the pad of our thumb slowly along each finger to the pinky. And then making a fist, draw a little circle with your wrist in each direction, just some movements in it, just to warm it up because in yoga, we spend a lot of time on our wrists. And if we don't warm them up before each practice, it can cause some injuries and some achiness, and we don't want that. So once your right hand feels really good, let's face the left hand forward. Our index finger again pulls back. This thumb pulls back the pointer finger and then pulls back the middle finger. Hopefully you're breathing still. I know I'm feeling this on my toes as well. Pulls back the ring finger. We got one more finger. We can do this. Pinky finger. And then let's create that fist. Draw some circles. Oh, yeah. Get into that wrist. And then when you're ready, come back to your palms. Tap the tops of your feet whew, into the earth. Awesome. Let's go for a little bit of a quad stretch. So we're going to sit in hero's pose. That means we're sitting between the space between our heels. So my booty is resting down to the mat between my heels. If that's not happening, sit on a block. Prop your booty up on that block. Now, if you're on the block, you're just going to stay seated upright and you're just going to stay right here. Cool? That's as far as you're going to go if you're on the block. If you don't have a block, if you can touch your booty to the earth and your knees are trying to stick together, your thighs are trying to stay together, so you're really trying to keep that connection of your thighs side by side, then you can start to explore leaning back if that feels good for you. If it doesn't, again, just stay seated upright, work on that tall, proud seat. You can stretch into the neck, you can stretch into the wrist a little bit more. But if you want to recline, start to take your hands back behind you. You might just stay on your wrists. You might move down to the forearms. You might move all the way down to your back. And if you're on your back, I like to create a little box, a little frame around my head by grabbing for opposite elbows overhead. It's just a nice way to add additional stretch into the sides of your body, lengthen. It also gets a little stretch into the shoulders. Full inhale, big exhale. Big breath in and breath out. If you're reclined, taking your time, make your way back upright. I always go to the forearms and then to the palms. Pretty awkward to get out of it. And then coming upright. Oof. So it's supposed to be really good for the ankles, also for the knees, believe it or not. I know sometimes it makes your knees feel a little achy and your ankles like mine, but it actually stretches them out, which I think a lot of times when we're feeling achiness and pain, it's because we're not stretching those areas properly. And joints like your knees and your ankles are really hard to stretch. So that hero's pose is really good. All right, let's come back to our tabletop. We're going to work on some strengthening after we warm up our spine a little bit more. So cat cow, inhale, lift tailbone and gaze up. Exhale, round and hollow out. Now, if you're like me, I'm going to hold my cat pose. I'm going to press my ribs over to the right and then over to the left. This one feels amazing to me. It might not serve you as well. You might just keep cat cowing, taking inhales and exhales. But I personally like to hold my cat pose and just really round into the spine. For some reason, my back is always really tight, especially my mid and low back. And so this is a really good pose for that. Take one more full round of breath in and breath out. Nice job, yogis. Let's come back to our neutral tabletop. Let's walk our knees in a little bit shorter towards the wrists so they're more underneath the belly button rather than underneath the hips. Tuck the toes. Oh, yeah, we're back here, except it's going to be more strengthening. We're going to go into beast pose. So hovering the knees over the earth. Now, there's a few options. You can just hold beast pose because that might be where you're at today. You might try to lift the right hand very carefully, and you might try to tap the left shoulder without rocking and then lower it back down. You might try to hover that left hand now, tap your right shoulder, and then lower it back down. For me, this one's really difficult because I like to rock left and right while I do this. And the whole point is you're trying to eliminate most rocking in this pose, most movement. So try to do a couple more of those. I'm going to try to do one more on each side. Right hand to left shoulder, and then left hand to right shoulder. All right, yogis, hips go high, down dog, let it go. Oh man, I always forget the shirt's the worst for down dog. All right, taking your time to pedal it out, ease into your down dog. First one of our practice. Nice, yogis. Now, step your feet in a little bit shorter so your heels can come to ground or at least close to grounding. You might have a deep bend into the knees. Totally fine. But you have a much shorter down dog stance here. And we are going to take our left hand to our right ankle, our calf, or a thigh, whatever we can grab for. And we're going to peek up and underneath that right armpit. One more full inhale. Exhale, plant that left hand down. Right hand reaches to the left ankle, the left calf, or left thigh. Peek up and underneath that left armpit. Take a deep breath in and a big breath out. Last inhale. Exhale, plant that right hand back down. Now, here's a little fun challenge. If you guys ever took a class with Mike Matsumoto, Mike always, I call this Mike's balancing pose because it's so stinking difficult. So you're going to lift your left leg up, and then you're going to take your right hand to your right calf or ankle, and you're just going to work on balancing. And yes, this is so stinking difficult. And Mike's class, I would fall out of this pose all the time when I first started taking it. And then over time, I did get that balance, that feeling from the gut of my belly to be able to balance a little bit more here. If you fall out of it though, be kind to yourself. Just get back into it. It's right hand to right ankle. Your left leg is lifted and you're breathing. Just a little bit of a balance challenge. Your right hand will always let you catch yourself. Don't worry. And then taking your right hand, replant it, lower the left foot down, sweep the right leg high. And let's take that left hand to left ankle or left calf, whatever you can grab for. Also, this is a little bit of a sneaky hamstring stretch. If you notice, you're probably feeling this a bit in the hamstrings. Full inhale. Completely let all the air go. One more deep breath in. Exhale, plant the left hand first, then step the right foot down. Come back to your neutral, normal down dog stance. So that might mean stepping it out a little bit wider, adding a little bit more length back into the body. Awesome job, yogis. Taking your time, lift high onto the tippy toes. I love this one because it's so challenging. Palms stay planted, legs are straight, really high on your tippy toes, like you're wearing some crazy high heels. And then try to take the tiniest little tiptoe steps forward, like you're a little penguin. If you remember when you were a kid, you tried to do like little penguin walks and stuff like that. Trying to do the same thing. Scoop up the navel. That'll create some more space. And just take your time tiptoeing with straight legs all the way forward, palms glued down. And it's going to feel almost impossible as you get to the top. Arrive, ragdoll, grab for opposite elbows. Bend into both knees, sway left and right. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release your fingers to shins or to earth. Halfway lift, scoop up the navel. Exhale, fold it on down. Inhale, root and rise. Reach high, Urdhva Hastasana. Reach up towards the sky. Exhale, cactus, the heart open, back bend. Inhale, sweeping your arms up high. Palms come together. Drag them in through heart center. Close your eyes. Notice and observe what's going on with your heart, with your breath, maybe with your mind. What was that intention that you can bring your mind back to focus on? Deep breath in and a big breath out. Inhale, sweeping your arms up high towards the sky. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. So we've been moving pretty slow. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're going to keep flowing slow, but with strength. So step it back, top of a push-up. Hold the top of this push-up. High plank pose. Now, your wrists are underneath your shoulders. Your toes are, you're on the ball of your foot and the toes. Your heels are stacking over the ball of the foot. Taking a deep breath in. Exhale, lower halfway chaturanga. Keep the elbows in. Inhale, press back up, high plank pose. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, press back up. You can always use your knees if you need to. Exhale, lower halfway, pause. Stay for 3, 2, 1. Flip the tops of your feet, up dog. Exhale, roll over the toes, down dog. All right, arriving back in your down dog. Taking a full inhale. Let it go on a sigh out. Great. Sweeping the right leg high to the sky. Exhale, draw right knee in towards nose. Inhale, kick it up. Right knee comes in towards nose or maybe all the way up to your third eye space. Flex the foot. Slowly step it between your thumbs. Take your time. Tent up onto your fingertips for a moment. Move a little bit forwards and backwards, left and right. Get into the hips. And then plant that left palm down. Peel the right arm up towards the sky. An easy twist. Turn all 10 toes to face towards the right side of the mat. Horizon dip. Inhale, reach your arm high overhead. Horizon reach. Exhale, horizon dip. Inhale, horizon reach. Exhale, horizon dip. Let's come back. Easy twist. Peel and turn all 10 toes forward. Reach a little bit higher. Exhale, melt that right hand down to the inside of your foot. Walk your hands over, wide-legged fold to the long left side of your mat. Awesome job. It's pouring rain at my house right now. Let's just hope my dog, there's no thunder, because otherwise she's going to be like glued to my mat for the rest of the class. Take a deep breath in, halfway lift. Exhale, fold a little bit deeper if you can. Maybe walk your hands back behind you. Take a headstand if you'd like to lift your feet off the earth right now. If you're feeling like you want that fire, bring it into it. One more full breath in. If you're flying, make your way back down or take your time and catch up with us later. Walking our hands back around to frame our front foot. Launch up, standing L, balance on that right foot. Really getting in those hamstrings if we haven't yet already for you. Well, this one will definitely make you go there. All right, I like to take my right hand behind my right calf. This is a half bind. Now, if you want the full balancing effect, bring that left hand behind your left calf. Or if you have a wall nearby and you feel like kicking up into a handstands in your practice, you might not even need a wall, but I personally like to have a wall still because I go too far all the time. So you might have that nearby, or you might just take some little hops and just work on, hopping up and getting your heart rate up a little bit higher, what you want to do here. I'm going to stay in the standing L for another deep breath in and a big exhale. Lovely job, yogis. Stepping your left foot down next to right, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it on down. Inhale, root and rise, reach high. Exhale, sit low, chair pose. So we're not moving particularly fast for this flow. We're just moving through very strong poses. And chair pose is an example of that because chair pose brings in stillness majority of the time, but it also makes you sit still and strong, right? You can't be weak in a chair pose. It's a very strengthening posture, pulling the navel in, engage every part of your body. Even your arms are active here. They reach up towards the sky. Pinky spiral slightly in for that rotation in the arms, rotation down into the shoulders. One more full inhale. Exhale, fold it on down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take a vinyasa, any journey you want to take. If you want to take a push-up or two before you move to your up dog, You are more than welcome to. I don't know why I just did all three. It's gonna make me get out of breath. All right, back in our down dog. Take a deep breath in. Big audible sigh, reset. Another full inhale and a full exhale. Inhale, sweeping your left leg high. Exhale, draw knee in towards nose, shift it forward. Inhale, kick it up. Knee comes in towards nose again, or maybe all the way up to third eye space. Hug that leg in a little bit closer towards your chest. Flex the left foot, and then gently step it through. 10 tap onto the fingertips, ease into the hips a little bit forwards and backwards, left and right. Nice job, yogis. Plant that right palm down, peel the left arm high towards the sky. Reach, reach, reach. Nice. Exhale, turn all 10 toes towards that left side of the mat. Horizon dip. Inhale, horizon reach. Exhale, horizon dip. Inhale, horizon reach. Exhale, horizon dip. Let's come back. Easy twist. Peel that left arm back up towards the sky as all 10 toes face forward. And then when you're ready, that left hand plants to the inside of your foot. Walk it over, wide-legged fold. Nice job, yogis, taking some time to hang out. You can take on whatever variation of a wide-legged fold you want. It could be a ragdoll variation where you grab for opposite elbows or interlace your hands behind the neck. If you took a headstand on the other side, maybe you take this ragdoll variation to bring some length back into the spine. Maybe you take something else. I'm personally going to take a little skandasana. I'm going to bend into my back right knee and my front left knee, and my back right knee, and then my front. All right, coming back into our wide-legged fold as you're ready. One more deep breath in. Big breath out. Walk your hands forward, standing L, launch and balance on that left foot. What I recommended last time was wrapping your left hand behind your calf. You might stay there in the half bind, or you might take the right hand with you and work on the full bind. You might also work on those little handstand kick-ups, but making sure that you are safe, right? Making sure that you're not going to hurt yourself. So walls are really nice for that. But try to do it gently. Instead of kicking your legs up against the wall really hard, you shouldn't really hear it. It should be pretty light. Sometimes, though, our feet hit the wall a little bit harder than we anticipate. That's okay. But you might just work on those L kicks until you're feeling a little bit more comfortable to bring the second leg up with you. All right, yogis, taking a couple more rounds of breath here. Might be working your balance. I'm trying to take this full bind. On my left side, it's always so much more difficult than my right side. My balance on my left side is never as good as on my right. You might notice these things, and it doesn't mean anything, right? We're just gathering information, learning something about ourselves without assigning a label or a meaning to it. Full inhale. Exhale, stepping your right foot down next to left, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Sit low, chair pose right away from this fold. Good. All right, we're going to change this up on this one a little bit. We're going to move into diver's pose. So lift onto the tippy toes, straighten the legs, hinge your heart forward as your arms swim back. Beautiful. Your legs have to be really strong for this. Sit back down, chair pose. Also talk about working on that ankle strengthening, right? And stretching. Let's move back, diver's pose. Sit low, chair. One more round. We're going to hold this divers a little bit longer. Hinge your heart forward. Stay with it. One more full inhale. You've got it, yogis. Use your core strength. Exhale, sit low, chair. Stay for the deep breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Release it on down. Nice. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take your vinyasa, whatever that might be. When you arrive back in your down dog, full breath in to reset. Full breath out. One more full inhale. Big exhale. All right, let's look forward. So we're gazing up towards our hands. We're going to lift high into the tippy toes. We're going to bend into the knees. And then using your core strength and lower pelvic floor, really engage the whole abdominal muscle system. And we're going to try to hop and float our feet to the outside of our hands. So just carefully hop it up or step it up, whatever is accessible. Yogi squat malasana. All right, it's been a while since I've done yogi squats in a class. And for some reason, this was something that I was really craving this morning. It's very rooted and grounding, but also very strong and strengthening. And it like this slowing down kind of requirement for it. You can't really move fast through a yogi squat. You have to ease into it. So you might take the backs of your hands together. I'll face towards the camera for this. You might take the backs of your hands together and give your wrists a little bit of a shake if they're feeling a little fatigued from flowing. Totally okay to do. You might start to make full circles with it or move it around a little bit. You might just have the palms facing together, thumbs into the sternum, right? Push your elbows into your knees so you can pinch your shoulder blades together a little bit more. Draw them down the back. Awesome work, yogis. A little smile. This is the hardest part of any pose, especially ones that require a little bit of breathing and strength and peace. Let's take another full inhale. And a big sigh. Next inhale, we're going to lift up just a little bit higher. Oh yeah, that's like an inch or two higher. And then we're going to try to stay here. Next inhale, a little bit higher. A little bit higher. Try not to lean your heart too far forward. Keep it proud. A little bit higher. A little bit higher. And then all the way up. Reach your arms up high towards the sky. Exhale, palms come down into heart center. Let's sit low. A little lower. A little lower. A little bit lower. A little bit lower. 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 And then down. So we don't always have to move fast through a yoga flow or sequence to build strength. Sometimes the slower flows are the hardest ones, including mentally. All right, let's lift up a little bit higher. A little bit higher. A little bit higher. A little bit higher. Standing a little bit higher and then all the way up. Reach your arms up high. Exhale, thumbs come into heart center. Sit back down a little bit lower. 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 This one's always the hardest. And then back down. Nice. We're going to go through that faster this time. So inhale, we're going to stand all the way up. Reach it up high. Exhale, sit back down nice and low. Inhale, reach it on up like you're on an elevator. Exhale, come on back down. One more. Here we go. Inhale, stand on up. Exhale, fold it on down. Awesome. From here, if you got a crow pose in your practice, you want to add some strengthening into it, go for it. If you want to work on crow pose, that's part of the reason why we have a block today. So grab it and I'll teach you how to get into a crow pose. If you haven't done it yet, we're going to work on it. All right. So if you have a crow pose in your practice, hop into it. Vipassana, go. If you want to work on the tutorial, actually, if you're a really strong yogi at these two and you have a block, this is a good strengthening exercise I can assign to you after this too. All right, so your palms are pressing down. You tuck your knees to the armpits almost, right? It's really to the back of the triceps, so it's really deep in those armpits. And you're really high onto the ball and the tippy toes on the feet. Now, if you notice, I'm leaning a little bit further forward because you are going to have to lean forward for crow pose. So as you shift the weight more forward and you start to lean your knees onto the back of the triceps, you're really barely on the tippy toes. You might lift one tippy toe, you might lift the other. You might eventually realize that you can lift both. Now, something to realize is I'm not looking straight down. I'm looking out in front of me. So when I lean forward in my crow pose, I'm looking out where I want to soar to rather than looking at the ground where I'm afraid I'm going to fall. And that works as a great metaphor in life as well. All right. So from your crow pose, yes, you can fly. You can just work on lifting one toe and then the other. You're still doing crow pose even if your toes are to the block. And this adds extra height that just gets you a little bit closer to achieving that crow pose. But if you want to work on an exercise, if you have a crow pose in your practice and you want to kind of step it up to the next level, well, I have a fun task for you. So your palms are to the earth. You have your feet tucked here. You're on the block. And then you take your feet and you grab the block and try to lift it up. Oh, yeah. And then try to softly lower it back down. And you can do that a few times. It is exhausting. I think crow pose in and of itself is really strengthening and fun, but it's also kind of it burns through fuel and energy too. All right, so take as many of those as you want, but after the next Bakasana crow pose, you can shoot back or you can step back and take a vinyasa. If you're working on the shoot back and you want to practice a little bit, your hands should be shoulder width distance apart. Notice sometimes in crow, we bring our hands a little bit together, but to make your vinyasa happen, have your hands a little bit wider. All right, so once you're in your crow pose, you're gonna use your core strength and your lower pelvic floor to catch yourself halfway. Elbows kind of help stop you too. And then flip the tops of your feet and roll to the top or back to down dog. Whew. Hips high to sky. I don't know, that just turned into a crow pose tutorial randomly. All right, from your crow pose, you're back in your down dog. Let's all take a deep breath in and a big sigh out. One more full inhale and a big exhale. Lovely yogis. Inhale, sweep the right leg high. Bend your knees, stack your hip. Draw some knee circles if you want it. Option to flip over if you want to change your perspective up a little bit. And then we'll meet back in our three-legged dog. We're moving into half pigeon pose. Right knee behind right wrist. It's already time for half pigeon pose, believe it or not. Sitting up nice and tall. Find the strength from your core. And then when you feel like you have the balance and you don't need your hands so much to help you, you can start to fold forward. If you have a gap underneath the right cheek, a blanket is really nice to tuck under there. If you want, you can bring the block underneath your head. You could even bring the blanket. I'm going to give you a thread the needle variation for the arms today in half pigeon. So you're going to take your left arm and thread it through. Left shoulder to earth, left ear to earth. Right arm reaches out long toward the top of the mat. That left palm is facing up just like all of our other thread the needle variations. Slowing the breath down. Notice if you're holding tension, your jaw soften, top teeth and bottom teeth. If you'd like to stay in this thread the needle variation of half pigeon, please stay. If you want to go for an upright variation, mermaid, merman, merhuman, merthing is available as well. So you can bend this back left foot, taking your left arm, you can grab with the hand and just grab onto the foot, or maybe you can even slide it into the crook of your elbow. If you got the crook of your elbow, you can go for the arm bind by interlacing your fingers. If you just have your hand though, hey, you're doing the exact same thing. You're just not doing the weird arm stretch thing with it. Now you have this balance between the two sides, but you're really getting that quad stretch all the while here. One more full inhale. Exhale, gently release that left foot down. We're all going to find our way propping ourselves back up to our palms, whether you're in thread the needle or in your mer creature pose. And then we're going to tuck our back left toes and we're going to step our foot back. Now you can pedal it out in your down dog. This one's personally my favorite right now to get my equilibrium back, but you might also sweep your leg high to sky and draw some circles. That could also feel good for you too. All right, left leg sweeps up high, bend your knee, stack your hips, some knee circles, or if you want it, flip your dog. Wild thing is here. When you're ready, three-legged dog, make your way into that half pigeon pose. Find yourself first in this balance, right? So if you have a gap, tuck the blanket underneath that left glute if you got it, right? That helps find some balance. If you don't really have a gap there, that's okay. Still find a little bit of balance and equilibrium first and balance, and then start to fold your way down. It might take a couple moments just to fold and soften before we take the thread the needle variation. When you are ready, though, it's the right arm that slides underneath, palm faces up, right ear down to the earth. Left arm reaches towards the top of the mat. Making sure you don't lean too far to the left or the right side. Let this slow everything down for you. Now, again, if you want to stay resting in your thread the needle, continue to rest and thread the needle. If you want your mirror things pose, grabbing for that back right foot with your right hand or sliding it to the crook of the elbow, the inside eye of the elbow, and then maybe you take the bind or you don't. It does not matter. It does not mean you are any less of a beautiful mer creature. You are still an amazing person. You're an amazing human. Man, if you were a mer human or a mer creature, you'd be pretty amazing too. Could like breathe underwater, all those cool things that the little mermaid could do. These are the things that distract my brain during yoga when I practice at home, usually alone. All right, one more full inhale. If you have your back foot, gently release it. If you're folded forward and thread the needle, press yourself back up to your palms. Tuck the right toes, step it back, pedal it out. Now you might lift your leg up and take those circles, bending the knee, whatever it is, or just pedal it out. Now, floating through is in your practice. Widen your hands a little bit further and try to float through to a seat. That was much better than I did that last week. You gotta be nice to yourself. Some days are easier than other days. If you just want to lower down to the knees and kick your feet out in front of you, we're gonna take a nice little forward fold. So find both sit bones rooted to the earth, a little wiggle left and right. Remove any excess flesh that you got underneath there maybe right now. Scoop up your low belly. Reach your arms up high towards the sky. Exhale, hinge, forward fold. Now bend your knees as much as you'd like and don't feel like you have to grab for your feet. Grab for calves, your ankles, whatever you got to grab for. Give your head a little shake, yes and no. Remind it to relax. And just bow it on down. Try to keep those feet flexed. One more full inhale. Exhale, release the bind of your hands wherever they're at. Keep the chin tucked towards the chest. Slowly roll up to a seat. And then start to roll down until you get about halfway down. Pause here. Bring your hands behind your ears, just so they're very light on it. You're not straining the neck. Now hover the legs. Good. Yeah, you're in low boat. We're going to work on some atomic abs here. So bend the knees, elbows in towards each other. Inhale, find length. Now you're to reach your arms long overhead. Exhale, crunch it up and in, knees to elbow, elbow to knee. Find length, low boat. Exhale, crunch it up like it's a high boat. These are just called atomic abs. And oh my goodness, I think they'll give us atomic abs the way it feels right now. Let's take this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. You've got this. 5, 4. Make sure you're breathing. 3, 1. Lower down to your back now. Keep the knees in towards your chest. Keep your shoulders away from the earth. Kick your feet up towards the sky. Lower them down to hover. Knees bend in towards the chest. Kick the legs up. Lower them down to hover. Knees come in towards chest. Legs lift up. Lower them down to hover. Knees in towards chest. Let's switch this out. Now your legs kick out. Then they lift up. Then it's knees towards chest. Legs kick out. Legs up towards the sky, knees bend, kick them out. You've got this for one more round. Knees bend in towards chest. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Rock a little bit left and right. Let it go. Whew. Let it all go. Give yourself the biggest hug. You're amazing. All right. Slow down the breath. Let's keep the right knee in towards our chest. Let our left leg grow long. Hug this knee over towards the outside of our ribs. Give it a big old squeeze. And then taking your left hand, grab for that right shin, pull it across the body. A different kind of supine twist today. Right arm reaches out long. Now, if this bothers your spine, your neck, your back, whatever it might be, maybe just go for a traditional staggered knee one. Whatever works for you. Draw your knees back through center. Let the right leg go long. Keep the left knee in towards your chest. Draw it outside the ribs. And then taking this right hand, grab for the left shin. Pull it across your body. Left arm reaches out. Palm faces up. Just breathe. Try to slow it all down. Your knee might not come anywhere near the earth, and that is okay. Breathe a little bit slower, a little bit calmer. Exhale, knees back into chest. Give yourself one more big hug, big squeeze. Show yourself a lot of love. Grab on for your blanket. This is where we're going to use it because we're going to make sure that we feel really secure and grounded. This is going to be like our weighted blanket. No matter what it weighs, it's just a little bit more weight on top of you. For Shavasana, we're going to take this blankie and rest across our belly, our hips. If you want to take up a little bit more space, you can unfold it a little bit more and have it also rest across the chest. This feels pretty nice to me. I really personally like it on the belly and the hips. And you're just going to take a Shavasana with this blanket gently resting on you. And let your arms and legs hang heavy, like they're filled with lead as your eyes come to close. Let your breathing return to normal. Let your thoughts grow heavy and slow. You can imagine that each thought that passes through your mind is like a leaf drifting down a stream. You can just watch that leaf drift further and further and further away. Like there's this nice, cool brook, babbling brook running through your mind, taking all those distracting thoughts away and down the stream. Enjoy this rest. I'll let you know when it's time to reawaken. If you'd like to keep resting, maybe you lock your device and just turn on an alarm to wake you up in a certain amount of time. That way you can let your mind just rest and not need to keep track of time. If you are ready to reawaken, take time to deepen the breath. Fill it down into the belly, let it lift the blanket, and then exhale, lower it all back down. Just like we began our practice, taking time to rub the pad of your thumb along the pad of your index fingers, moving over to the middle finger, the pointer, and taking your time to make your way over to the ring finger. Sorry, to the pinky finger. Oh my goodness. I got Shavasana brain. When you're ready, roll into the ankles, roll into the wrists, move into the jaw like you're yawning. Move it left and right, up and down. Rock your head heavy right and left. I'm going to close our practice on our back here. So we're just going to rest our right palm on top of our heart and then stack our left hand on top of that right. Feeling in this love, our heart space. Our heart represents so many things. Thinking about what it means for you. What is your heart? What do people see in your own heart in you? What do you see in your own heart and love about yourself? And remembering whatever we think we need to do or achieve or be, you are already enough. You already have everything you need to have. And you are seen, you are heard, you are acknowledged, you are loved. Thank you so much, yogis, for practicing this morning. I hope you feel like you are enough. You feel strong, steady, but peaceful, and ready to take on whatever lies ahead or doesn't lie ahead today. And being okay with that. Namaste. All right, yogis, thank you so much for practicing with me. Zoe, come here. I was hoping she'd walk through during Shavasana. She normally does. Hey, come here, sleepyhead. So on behalf of Zoe and I, thank you so much for coming and doing yoga with us. Oh, she hates this. Thanks so much for doing yoga with us. And we hope we get to see you again soon. If you can, and you get a chance, donate on the Black Swan Yoga page if you can. No big deal if you can't. We get it. We love and appreciate you just tuning in and practicing with us. But it does go to support so many of the yoga teachers that bring us some amazing yoga and some amazing dogs that do some yoga with us too, huh, Ms. Ozell? I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys again soon. Namaste.